Give mommy a kiss.
Hey guys, welcome here to my channel. My name is Taylor. If you're new here, today we are filming in front of my tiny house because today's video is about what we hate about living in a tiny house. I just want to start by saying that we are extremely blessed and thankful for living where we do, and I know that we live better than most people around the world, but we have lived here for almost 5 years and we share a lot about the upsides and how it has been a blessing to us and our family, but we haven't shared a ton about the downsides and some of the everyday struggles about living in a small space. So that's what we are going to talk about today. The first thing that is a downside of living tiny is that we don't have a dedicated space to create things. Creativity is a huge part of our lives. I am a painter and I make jewelry and do other arts and crafts. I make cards, and my husband is into leather craft and he does other things. And so we have a lot of supplies. Thankfully, we do have my husband's desk that is kind of mine and my husband's desk now, but it's oddly placed in our kitchen, which isn't the best thing ever, but it works. The right side is all of my husband's stuff and the left side is mine, so we're able to store quite a bit there. But we also have some space in my parents' garage where we store some of the bigger items like my canvases, paint supplies, and my husband has leather and different things out there too. So it just kind of feels like all of our supplies are scattered in different places, and if you want to create something, you have to get it all out, do what you're gonna do, and then put it all back, which, well, I know it's not the biggest issue in the world, but it kind of makes you not want to start creating in the first place if you know you just have to put it all away when you're done. And two, with my son starting to crawl pretty soon, it makes me nervous because we do use some like little pieces with jewelry, and my husband even uses needles, and it makes me nervous with him crawling and starting to like grab things off the floor. So I do have a solution for that I'll share later on in the video, but we would love to have a studio space, ideally with like a large table where you can just leave everything out at all times and have everything organized and ready to go. That way it's already ready for you to create. And plus, since we want to start doing pottery eventually, you do need a lot of space and supplies for that, and so that would be something that would be amazing for the future. But for now, we just kind of have to make do with the space that we have. The second downside about living in a tiny house is that having guests over is quite a challenge. First off, we don't have an indoor dedicated dining table that we can host more than just our family. And our table does extend, but we don't have enough chairs, and now with our bed downstairs, we don't have enough space. So we generally, if we invite people over, we'll eat outside, but in the summer, if it's so hot, nobody wants to sit outside. And two, it was better when our couch was downstairs because we kind of had a living area that we could hang out with people in, but since we've moved our couch upstairs and our bed downstairs, it's basically like you're inviting people into your bedroom, which is fine. We still invite people over, but it's a little bit awkward. The seating situation is weird. We don't have a ton of chairs, and I feel like it's awkward for people to just sit on your bed. I personally don't mind if they do, but I feel like it's awkward for people to just sit on your bed. So that's kind of a downside. And plus, the privacy with the restroom is kind of weird too, because our restroom is literally right off of our bedroom. So you can literally hear everything that people are doing in the bathroom, which is not ideal. It would be nice if we had a restroom that was a little bit further off, like most houses, so that people can just use the restroom in peace and not worry about who can hear them. In the past, when we've hosted large gatherings at our house, we'll hang out in the backyard and my parents will open up their restroom that they can use, so people have different options, but there's not really a space for us to hang out and have people over often, which for us community is important, so that kind of stinks. The next thing that I wanted to cover is in regards to the loft. Crawling around in the loft is not the highlight of my day. It was something that we got accustomed to when our bed was upstairs. We just got used to it. Wasn't a huge deal, but it was never something that we looked forward to. A lot of people were asking why we didn't make the loft walkable, and the reason is because the initial structure of the house, that was the way that the loft was structured, and we would have had to tear down the whole roof and basically restructure the whole house. And since we knew this wasn't going to be our forever house, we didn't want to spend the extra money and time and effort in redoing that, and so we just kind of made do with extending the loft and not making it walkable. So since we've moved our bed downstairs, we put our couch upstairs in the loft with a TV, and we still have our closet and kind of storage up there. We never go up there. First off, it's been super hot this summer and it's at least 10 degrees hotter up there, so why would you want to go sit in a sauna? And secondly, it's just kind of awkward when we could just sit on our bed and be more comfortable. And when it does cool down this fall, we have ideas of kind of redoing that space and making it more of a creative space like we had talked about. Because the baby isn't going to go upstairs, so we were thinking of kind of doing more of like the craft with the small pieces and stuff upstairs. That way we can just leave everything out, not worry about it, and not worry about our son getting into our craft supplies. Along with a loft not being the most usable functional space, the ladder is also not the best thing ever, but that is what came with the house too, so we've kind of just kept it. We decided we didn't want to redo that whole structure. Additionally, not having a downstairs closet is something that I would love to have. I'm really into fashion, and so I love organizing my closet and making it all clean and basing it on like colors and doing like the capsule wardrobes that I really enjoy. So it makes me sad that I just kind of have to like have most of my clothes downstairs right now, and I'm so looking forward to when we move to be able to have a downstairs closet. That just makes me so excited. You guys with downstairs closets, you are living the dream. The next thing that we do not like about living in a tiny house is in regards to cleaning. Now this is both an upside and a downside. The upside being that it takes basically no time to clean the whole house. The downside is that it gets messy and dirty very, very quickly because you are using 100% of your space. Some houses you have rooms that you use more often. Well, we use our whole house all the time, so it gets very dirty. I have to sweep or vacuum at least once a day, and things just pile up very quickly. So if you leave one thing out and then another thing out and then another thing out, the whole house is a complete disaster within no time. So I feel like I'm constantly cleaning, constantly picking up, which maybe is part of my OCD, but I also think it's because the house is very small and I need it to be visually clear so that I can focus and be productive, like I shared in my last video. Along with the cleaning aspect, it is kind of a downside when we have guests over and there isn't a space that we can just close the door and not let people in. A lot of people probably put their stuff that they're not wanting to clean, they just kind of throw stuff in a closet or maybe their bedroom because they know that nobody's gonna go in there when people come over. But for us, people want to see our entire house, and sometimes we'll throw stuff in a loft, but even then a lot of people want to see our loft, which is fine, I'm not complaining, but there isn't like a space where we can just kind of let it be messy, I guess. I feel like we always have to have our house clean and in order, which probably is a good thing, but also it's kind of stressful sometimes when you just kind of want to not have it like that. And if we want to like organize files or just kind of organize anything in general, we have to get it out and it takes up the whole house and then you have to put it away. So it would be kind of nice to have like a separate space where we can just kind of go through things, organize things, shut the door, not have to worry about it. But I guess that's part of the minimalism, right? Dad, don't judge me. The next thing that we don't like about living in a tiny house is in regards to the kitchen. Now this was kind of a bad choice on our part, but we did put the oven above the countertop, which is very rare and weird. Usually it goes underneath the counter, which we didn't do that because we wanted to utilize all of the storage underneath the cabinets because we did have the open shelves, so we wanted a place to kind of just store the things that weren't so pretty, that didn't make it to the open shelf. But putting things in the microwave is kind of awkward. I have to like reach up, and then when I take things out of the oven or put things in the oven, I either have to use a stool or ask my husband because he's taller than me. And thankfully I haven't burnt myself, but it is kind of a hazard too with pulling hot things out of a hot oven above your head. Not the smartest decision that we've ever made, so wish we would have rethought that a little bit. Additionally, since the oven is above our stovetop, when we cook things, there isn't enough like airflow. That is kind of a downside too. The next thing is in regards to our baby. I don't like that he doesn't have a lot of space to kind of crawl and play around. I would like to get some type of floor mat for him to have some tummy time and then be able to like play with his toys when he gets a little bit older. But even that, there isn't a ton of space that he is able to crawl around. But I guess that encourages going outside and doing other things than just sitting inside all day. But it would be nice to have a little bit more space for him. And I know that the house is just gonna get smaller and smaller with him getting bigger and bigger. So we'll have to adjust with that. And lastly, this is a very random thing, but my interior decorator artsy side is coming out, that there isn't enough space for me to be creative with decor. I love decorating my house, and I've run out of wall space. So I am very looking forward to when we do move into a bigger house, being able to decorate. That just makes me so excited. So those are the 7 things that we hate about living in our tiny house. So as I've shared the downsides, these are things that we will definitely want to change when we do move into a bigger house. But what we've learned is that we've actually enjoyed living in a smaller space. So when we do buy or build our next house, we want to look for something that's not too big, not too small, just the right size that gives us the ability to do some more things with the house, but not have too much space to where we're not going to use all of it. Keeping it real, guys. I hope you guys liked this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all the things. Stay tuned for more tiny house, minimalism, intentional living content, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Bye.